Niatani. Niatani is a long time ago. The Kwantlen people were starving. There was still ice on the ground, and there was nothing in this river. So the Kwantlen people were starving. There was a young man who didn't know what he was feeling, how he was feeling. Went to a Shwanam. Shwanam's a healer. He went to the healer, and the healer just said to him, Ni imachata astan. That's golden ears to everybody. Astan. It's Kwantlen's mountain. So he walked that way. He didn't know why he was going. He just listened to the Shwanam and went. He walked all the way to Austin. When he got there, he wasn't understanding why he was there. He was only listening to the Shwanam. Not long later appeared Smyeth, the four-legged, the deer. He looked up to the sky and in thankfulness and in gratitude. Seeth Allah, the Smyeth. And he closed his eyes and opened them again. The deer had walked around him 4 times. And on the 4th time, what he found was laying in front of him was the deer meat already prepared and the skin already prepared for him. It is a belief that the people believe that the four-leggeds give themselves up to the people. So as he looked at the deer meat laying inside the skin, he wrapped it up, put it over his back, carried it all the way back here to Squalettes. Squalettes is the place name here, which means the little river that meets the big river. Squalettes. The literal translation for that is, again, the little river that meets the big river. But one of the elders believes it is called the river runs through it because she's a big Brad Pitt fan. So when he brought it back here, the people were thankful. All the Kwantlen people were so thankful of the Smyeth. So they laid out a big feast. And the elders said, Amit, come here, sit down. They wanted him to eat first, because who knows when they're gonna eat again. So they sat him down. He takes his first bite and everybody watches him. And after he takes his first bite, everybody eats. The children, the women that are carrying life in their belly, and the elders. So there was a young woman named Slani. She had the love from a man named Sweka. She reached over and grabbed a piece of deer meat and she tied it around her wrist. She was gonna save that for who knows when they're gonna eat again. And like all stories, this is a time of feast or famine. So they feast with that deer meat, fed the whole community. So as days went past, she had that deer meat on her, tied to her wrist. She would reach over and give a little piece to her only love, Sweka. He would take a piece, and then she would take a little piece for herself just to tie her over so she's not hungry. The next day she does that again, gives a little piece to her only love, Sweka, takes a little piece for herself. You know that feeling just before recess when your stomach is growling? That's exactly why she was doing that with the deer meat. So the next day she does that again, gives to her only love, Sweka, takes a piece for herself. But on the 4th day, when she was going to give to her only love, Sweka, he says, Awa, Awa. I want to find a way to help our people. So he walks not far from here. Not far from here. Gets to the river. And he says, Atsiem, Tanasiaya, Tanasialachwa. Ats Itatsiem. Fichum Hoinamchu. Awits in Pompomen. Awits in Smuxenen. Awits in Smethenen. Eats in Achween. Each at a Tanaschalmen. Ara Ampa. Wa Ampa. Lo and behold, who shows up but Chels. Chels is a transformer. He's the lawmaker, like Optimus Prime, but with superpowers. He's the lawmaker. So he stands in front of Sueka and says, do you really want to help your people? Ha-ha. I do. Do you really want to help your people? Ha-ha. So Chel said, Sus klamp, then jump. So Sueka did as that. He jumped in. He splashed around and splashed around like children do in that hot summer sun, playing in the water. And he transformed into Kwantlen. Kwantlen, the male sturgeon. Horrified, Slenny stepped back and screamed what had just transpired in front of her. And she ran all the way back here to Scolet's, crying and crying. Not understanding what had happened. As days went by, her mother, Washbakko, was concerned about her, brought her to the Shwanam. Slenny's not eating. She wasn't eating the meat that was on her wrist. She wasn't eating it. And her mother grew concerned about her. When she brought her to the Shwanam, the first thing the Shwanam says is, I can't help her. There's no cure for a broken heart. You just have to go through that pain. So another few days go by, and a young girl named Lexi was asked by the Shwanam to follow Slenny wherever she went. Who knows where that grief's gonna take her? You watch her, watch where she goes. So Lexi would go and watch her, check up on her, see that she's okay. And then one day, Slenny walked all the way back to where Sueka had transformed into Kwantlen, not far from here. Lexi watches her from the bushes. Watches her and watches her. Slenny took off her Kwantlen, her wooden shoes. She put her feet in the water, faced north. And behold, who shows up? Kwantlen in his transformed state, hearing the prayer song, the true love from his only love, Slenny, sees her blurry vision through the water, says to her, "Do you love me, my love?" "Ha-ah, I do." "Do you miss me, my love?" "With all of my heart." "Sus Glomp, so jump." "Would you jump?" That's exactly what Slenny did. Slenny jumped in. She too transformed into Kwantlen. And she splashed around like children do in that hot summer sun, playing in the water. Transformed into Kwantlen, the female sturgeon. And that meat that was stuck on the wrist of the female sturgeon, the old people say that's the best tasting meat you'll ever have. Almadach. You believe me?